What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're back to talk about Dark Dimension 7. We finally have the Dark Dimension 7 planner available, and we can finally figure out which are going to be the best characters for you to invest in when it comes to Dark Dimension 7. From the first impressions of Dark Dimension 7, it's going to be extremely difficult. The enemies have diamonds, the enemies have all kinds of nonsense that makes them very tough to beat. So it's going to be important that you understand that, once again, many people have said this, Dark Dimension 7, Dark Dimension 6, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you really want to make sure that you're investing on the right characters. And while you can build for Dark Dimension 7 to complete it as fast as possible in terms of one-shotting the nodes, this is usually not recommended. You want to balance how fast you beat it, also with the characters that are good to invest in other game modes. So we're going to take a look at a few characters that, yes, they are very good for Dark Dimension, but then in other game modes, they are not so good. And you're going to find that balance, which is going to be the best approach for Dark Dimension. So, as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure to smash that like button like a boss. Okay, so who's an absolute boss is Dark Dimension 7. It's so difficult that whales like Beta Ray Bill, they were not even able to clear the first node. That shows how difficult it's going to be to complete Dark Dimension 7. And Scopely, in their absolute craziest mind, they decided to put not only 7 L stars, 7 red stars, but also diamonds on the enemies that you face in Dark Dimension 7. So this is definitely going to be a challenge. And once again, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but there is the proper way to do it, right? So with this video, we're going to try to make the most balanced decisions, not on what's good for Dark Dimension, but what's good for other game modes. We're going to take a look into Cosmic Crucible, we're going to take a look into Alliance Wars, and see what are going to be the best characters for that. So, okay, let's get started. So Dark Dimension 7, we have a non-legendary, non-mythical city, and then global, and then cosmic, and then we have legendary, and then we have mythical. According to community manager Archangel, from what I understood, I have not seen this myself, but I heard from other people, you actually only need 4 mythical characters on the last section, so you don't need 5. So if you are people are trying to decide Doctor Doom or Ultron or whatever, well, none of them. You only need and I guess we can start with that section, with the last one. You don't need any of those characters. So we're gonna take Kestrel, yes. We're gonna take Super Scroll, yes. We're gonna take Apocalypse, yes. And finally, we are going to take Dormammu. On the last run, of course, obviously, you want to bring your Mephisto, but you don't want to bring the other characters for sure. So that makes the Mythic section. And once again, we are starting from that one because, once again, supposedly, subject to change, you only need 4 characters there. And it's going to be your Castle, the Scroll, the Apocalypse, and Dormammu. Okay, so now let's go back into City. Now, on City, we had a lot of reworks recently. Supposedly, we are getting new characters coming up next patch for City as well. We don't know 100% if that's true or not, but in City we have a few major options that I think that everyone should consider. And I've said this many times, if you want to get to Dark Dimension as fast as possible, you need to balance the amount of bio gear, tech gear, mutant gear, mystic gear, and so on that you're gonna bring. Now for this, we're gonna remove actually these characters because they don't matter. They are at the last section. You only have 4 characters available, so we're gonna remove the mythic ones so they don't mess up the calculations for the other sections. So we're gonna take a look at City, and then global, and then cosmic, and then we'll see individually for legendary, and then we'll see the total, so you get the proper impression of each of the sections. Okay, so in my opinion, characters that you should consider right away, part of the meta right now, is Vulture, we have Lizard, and we have Craven. These characters are part of the Sinister Six, and they are meta in Cosmic Crucible, they are meta in Alliance Wars, they are meta in Avengers Tower, they are even meta in Arena. In a few situations where you're facing characters with speed up, you can use Sinister Six characters in order to cancel them out, and because of that, these characters have a lot of value in multiple game modes. And this is why I think it's so good, because not only they have good synergy with each other, not only they are part of the same team, but the value in other game modes is huge. So we have the Hammer Tech, we have the Molecular Cloth, and we also have the Unstable Cloth. So far so good, we don't have any of the same type on the same section, so that's good for us. Okay, other characters that we can take a look at. So we have other Sinister Six members, of course, but the problem is that they're not as good. For example, Rhino, Lady Electro, Shocker, Spider Slayer, they're okay-ish, but they are not that good. Then we have the characters that are part of the Tangle Web team. We have Spider-Man Noir and 2099. Unfortunately, both of these characters are very low in terms of stats. They don't have their leader of the team, Spider Weaver, on the same section, so it's not recommended for us to take them. And then we also have other, I forgot to mention, we have also the Mysterio, but these characters here at the top, they are very expensive. You never want to take these expensive characters because you are paying the price of 2 characters for just 1 character, so why would you do that? Now, with this in mind, we also have Spider-Man Big Time. He's an option. He's okay. He's not amazing. He's okay. But he every now and then shows up in Cosmic Crucible, in Alliance Wars, in Arena. And because of that, maybe you can consider investing on him. He has very good stats and he has very good health and so on. The problem is that he is a Dark Promotion credit character. And if you cannot invest those Dark Promotion credits and the diamonds on Spider-Man Big Time, which I don't recommend, I would definitely skip this character, right? So one character that you can take a look from the list of the cheaper characters, we have Mr. Negative, and we also have Firestar, and we also have Spider-Man 2099, which we already said is too trashy to take. So we're gonna take a look at Firestar, because she's a mutant, and for the last character that we need, so we have 1 tech, we need 1 Mystic. Okay, so for Mystic, we have a few options. Once again, Mr. Negative, we also have Morbius. Unfortunately, none of these characters are good enough on their own. So we have to move on to the next section in terms of cost, and we have right here Kingpin, skill, but we already have Kraven. It's a secondary option if you don't want to take Kraven, but why not? So in terms of Mystic, we're gonna take these guys. So this is going to be the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. So in my opinion, this is without a doubt the best team you can take. All of these characters use different centerpiece uniques. All of these characters are of different types, and while they are not the cheapest, all of them are part of the meta. So you are not building for Dark Dimension itself. If you're building for Dark Dimension, maybe you should bring all the symbiotes or something like that. That is insane. But this is the team that is the fastest way. You can see the distribution of gear is great for us. So that's what we want. In terms of cost, we can also see that we have 54, we have 36, we have 54, 54, and 36. So once again, very, very cheap cost for the game mode that we are participating in. Okay, so that's in terms of city. Once again, secondary options, if you want to consider them, we have the Mr. Negative for Mystic, we have Kingpin for skill, we have also Spider-Woman for bio, even that she's not super important. We have Spider-Man Big Time for tech, and for mutants you could take Hard Light, but in my opinion Firestar is better than Hard Light because Firestar wins games, and Hard Light, after she does her ultimate, it's pretty much game over for her. So those would be the secondary characters that we could take. Now in terms of global, once again we're gonna take a look at one character of each type, and we're gonna try to make sure that we have characters that are not using the same type of uniques. So I mentioned before that we don't want to overlap too much in terms of the uniques, and you're gonna have this problem with Sabertooth, but also with Spider Weavers, because all of them use the molecular cloth, which is the same that we are going to use with Craven. So if this is something that you feel like you must do, watch out, be careful, because you might not have enough of this gear for everyone. Usually you don't want to have more than 2 characters that require the same type of unique, especially you don't want them to be back to back in terms of lanes, right? City lane, then global lane, you have to make sure that you have some separation there. So you're gonna hold back on the Spider Weaver for now, especially because on the global section you want to bring the least possible amount of mystic characters. So you're gonna try to focus on mutant characters. So first mutant character you're gonna take is, of course, Nightcrawler. Is one of the best mutant characters that we have. He also uses the osmium, so this is another one that is problematic. It's up to you to decide if it's gonna be worth it or not. In terms of skill, we can take the Black Knight. Bio, we could take Tigra. In terms of tech, we can take Lady Deathstrike, but right now she's a little bit off meta. Even that her kit is good, we want to, as much as possible, avoid taking characters that don't bring a lot of benefit. So I guess we could bring the Iron Patriot. We're gonna use the filter now, just to see what tech characters we have available without having a lot of clutter. So there we go, tech characters. We have Lady Deathstrike, as I said. We could bring Rescue, but she's a part of the raid team. I'm not sure how long that raid team is gonna last. It's not a bad raid team. The problem is that she uses gamma radiation. So we're gonna take Iron Patriot for now. He uses titanium alloy, which is a good option. And supposedly this is going to be the next meta in terms of Cosmic Crucible. So definitely a game mode that you want to invest in. With this said, we can also take a look at other characters that pair up with Iron Patriot. So we might go back on the Nightcrawler. Don't get me wrong, Nightcrawler is a great character, but we want to avoid as much as possible using that osmium, because so many good characters use that osmium. So taking a look at the characters that we already have available, we have the Tigra, we have this guy, the Black Knight, and we have the Iron Patriot. So why not go full Cabal? So we could go full Cabal. We have the leader, uses Gamma, and we also have Namor that uses Prometheum. And Prometheum is a unique that not a lot of good characters use. And right now, Namor is definitely a good character. So let's see if I can find Namor. Okay, there it is. So, is this a team that you should take? Let's take a look. So we have the Arcane Magic, we have the Gamma Radiation, we have the Carbonadium, we have the Titanium Alloy, and we have the Prometheum. So there we go, we have 5 different types of uniques, we have 5 characters that are part of the meta, and we have 5 characters that are not mystic. Here we have to go a little bit overboard on the biotype. You can decide for yourself, you want to take more mutants rather than more bio. It's up to you. So instead of Tigra, let's take a look at secondary options. We have Wolverine, we have the Sabertooth. Are they meta? In Alliance Wars, sort of. We also have Lady Deathstrike for tech. She's very cheap if you want. Is she meta? It's up to you to decide if it's worth it or not. A character that you should definitely consider is Forge. Now, Forge on his own is not very good, so you could go instead with X23. Her kit right now is somewhat similar to Lady Deathstrike to a lesser degree. So you have to make a decision, or you go with Mystic, but if you go with Mystic, you're gonna get shafted on the next section, unfortunately. But all these other cheap characters, they are not very good. You could make some combos of Black Widow with Captain America and so on, but it's really not recommended, as Black Widow is not a good character on her team or anyone else in the game. But from the list of characters that we have available, if you really want to build safe, I'll probably build around that. So once again, apart from these characters that are Cosmic Crucible meta, Alliance Wars meta, I would maybe consider gearing up Forge, as he is one of the most important characters on the Extreme X-Men team. Okay, so let's take a look at the Cosmic session now. And for the Cosmic session, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of options, but we have must-have options. And in my opinion, must-have options is going to be Val, we have Kang, and we also have Photon. Photon, some people say that Photon is trash. Bro, like, no, you're wrong. Photon, she's very, very good. She has very high stats. She's meta everywhere. Cosmic Crucible meta, she's arena meta for new players. She's also part of Secret Defenders, one of the best teams that we have right now in the game. So why not taking her, right? So taking a look at the setup that we have so far. So we have 3 characters. Now Photon, she uses the same unique as Craven, and that's fine because Craven is City and she's Cosmic, so we have one line in between to separate them. Then we have Kang with the Quantum Energy, and no other character has Quantum Energy, and Osmium for Val, no other character has Osmium, so that's good as well. Now let's take a look at which other characters we want to bring, and because we didn't brought any Mystic characters on Global, you might want to bring Mystic characters for Cosmic. Now you could take Doctor Strange, is also part of the Secret Defenders. He also has synergies with Val and with Photon, but unfortunately on his own team is the one that usually gets replaced. There are some rumors that Doctor Strange is going to get reworked again in the near future. We don't know if that's true or not, but taking a look at other characters that we might bring, we actually don't have any good options. Let's be honest, all these characters are kind of garbage. Maybe Infinity War Thor, maybe Valkyrie, because you can revive her and she's skill, maybe. The problem here is that none of the characters are good enough. They're all garbage. Let's be honest, all the Mystic characters, they are garbage on their own. Deadpool, all these characters are outdated. It's really tough to make decisions for Cosmic. So yeah, I don't know. You can go with Better Reveal, you can go with the Infinity War Thor. None of them are used anywhere else apart from Alliance Wars, so you just have to take the L on this one. So maybe oh my, this is very difficult. So maybe Thor and Star-Lord, maybe. Or maybe you can take Moondragon and Phyla-Vell, maybe Better Reveal and Korg. I don't know, guys, it's just so bad. Cosmic section is really the worst section because we have so many Mystic characters and they're all trash. That's the biggest problem, is that they're all trash. So if you want to go cheap, go with the Doctor Strange. He's really gonna be cheap, but he's gonna be useless everywhere else. And with other characters, not so good. Some people will say that, oh, Void Knight is very good, he's meta and so on. He's gonna give you a very terrible time in Dark Dimension because he's super slow after he does his ultimate. And after he does his ultimate, he has no other abilities because the special has a very long cooldown and the basic is trash. So hopefully, between now and then, we'll get more Cosmic characters that make sense to bring to Dark Dimension. Okay, let's take a look. How far are we? So let's take a look in terms of uniques. We have one Osmium, we have one Quantum Energy, we have the Molecular Cloth, we also have the Uru, and we have the Judas Bullets. So in terms of uniques, this is the best, cheapest team that you can bring, right? We have one skill, 2 Mystic, but we didn't use in Global. We have 1 Bio and 1 Tech. So that means that we should bring more mutant characters for the Legendary section. So let's take a look at the Legendary section. And guess what? Omega Red is back, right? or maybe Phoenix. You guys have to decide on your own if you're gonna bring Omega Red or Phoenix, but both of these characters still health based on percentage, so they are always going to be useful in terms of Dark Dimension. So maybe bring both of them. Is that the answer? Bring both of them? Maybe yes. You could also have Jubilee, but Jubilee is a little bit expensive and she is super slow, so definitely a character that I would not recommend. Then in terms of the other characters that are somewhat cheap, we also have Black Cat. She's skill, and skill is not a requirement across the board in a lot of places. And then we have Green Goblin Classic, we have Morgan Le Fay, we have also Nova. The problem with these characters is that all of them use osmium, so hopefully you have enough time to save osmium on city and on global, because you are definitely going to require the osmium here. If you take Red Hulk, he doesn't have enough health to stand on his own. If you take Rogue, she does the special and the ultimate, and that's fine, but after that she doesn't do anything else. So I would really recommend bringing the Morgan Le Fay, because she spreads negative effects and she also does percentage health damage, like Omega Red, like Phoenix, and that's very important for Dark Dimension. So there you go. And I guess we have the all legendaries. No, we need one more. Okay, so one more. We have once again Carbonadium that we might be using with Tigre. We have the Luminium, we have the Astral Energy, and we have the other Osmium. Okay, let's take a look at which last character we can bring. So we have this guy, the Goblin. I think he uses the Goblin Serum, but I don't remember for sure. And he's tech, so you might want to bring him, even that you don't have Dr. Octopus. So he's going to have reduced value, but once again, you are getting value in other game modes. So maybe that's the answer. On the legendary section, you really don't have a lot of options, especially depending on the choices that you made. So for example, should you bring Morgan Le Fay? Is Morgan Le Fay meta anywhere? Depending to who you ask, Morgan Le Fay is no longer meta. So you might instead want to bring Nova instead of Morgan Le Fay. But this requires you to be careful with your bio gear on the global section. And instead of bringing two bio characters, or you want to bring one extra mutant character. So once again, you have to be careful with that. We're going to remove the Tigre, and we're going to bring another mutant. Supposedly, more mutants are going to get reworks in the future. We'll see about that, if it's true or not. Madeline Pryor, she's cheap, but she's Astral Energy. Gambit is Osmium, so it's definitely a character that we want to avoid. And beyond that, you could bring Forge, like I said before. You could bring Forge, like I said before. The problem is that he also uses the infinite energy, so maybe it's not a bad choice. Let's see. So Forge is going to be pretty much useless because he doesn't have synergies with anyone else, but I guess it's going to be the cheapest way, right? The cheapest way. Infinite energy, no other character uses that, and here we have more balanced, and we have this Osmium that Nova is more meta in Alliance Wars than Morgan Le Fay for now. Morgan Le Fay could also get a rework with Doctor Strange in the future. There is a specific team for this. We don't know if that's going to happen or not, so maybe these are going to be the perfect choices that you can bring for Dark Dimension. Let's just take a look at the uniques. So we have 200 bio, we have a 250 mutant, we have 162 mystic, we have 200 of skill, and we have 200 of tech. So we are a little bit mutant heavy and not super heavy in mystic, but we have that problem with Spider Weaver, that she also uses the molecular cloth. So unless you are willing to send a photon to the Shadow Realm, I would not recommend doing any other changes, right? I think that's going to be the mindset behind it. because in terms of cosmic characters, we really don't have good options, and especially for a mutant like Magic, she's very cheap, but she's definitely not a good option. While Photon, she's a very good bio character. So this is something that we have to take a look at. Here we have Namor, here we have Forge. Let's see. So we have extra with so we need a strong Mystic Global, strong Mystic Global that is not a Spider Weaver. Is there any character even like that? Strong Mystic that is not Spider Weaver for a global? Probably not. Probably not. I guess I'm going to filter. Let's see, Mystic Global. Mystic Global. That's a problem I never expected to face. Bashenga, but Bashenga is not very good here. These guys are too expensive. Oh man, are you gonna take the Quicksilver? Are you gonna get the bait of the Quicksilver? That would be so trashy. But I guess you would always start with his cooldowns. So I guess we are gonna be forced into taking Quicksilver. The problem is that he's also required Dark Promotion credits and Dark Diamonds. So he's also not a good option. So this is quite difficult. Once again, because of the limitations we have in Cosmic, we really cannot introduce more characters here unless you want to sacrifice the Phoenix or the Omega Red and bring Morgan Le Fay, but you can't because she's me. Oh my god, it's not good. Okay, so we're gonna clear those filters away. Legendary. So bio, I guess we could take Red Hulk and Morgan Le Fay. Red Hulk, Morgan Le Fay, and we drop the Nova. And like this, it should be more balanced, right? Like this, it should be more balanced. And like this, we would not have a problem with bringing up the Forge, and it would fix all our problems. So let's take a look. Where is Forge at? There it is. So there we go. We have just one mutant on Legendary Phoenix. Then we have two of the Horsemen. Once again, Red Hulk without Morgan Le Fay doesn't have enough health. That's why it's nice to bring both of them around. We have one more character with Gamma Radiation, but that's not a problem because we only have the leader. And that should put our cost at very good. So we have 100 and so you have 200. We have another 200. We have another 215. 215 and 200. So these are going to be the best characters you can bring in terms of cost to get you in Dark Dimension as fast as possible and be able to complete without sacrificing the meta. We can argue about the usefulness of Morgan Le Fay and of Phoenix, but at this point you are about to get Mephisto, and this is just a legendary section, so you just have to take the yellow because you don't have a lot of options. And for the mythical section, there is nothing we can do. We just have to take the characters that we have available, and that's going to be Kestrel, the Super Scroll, we have Apocalypse, and we also have Dormammu. That's going to increase the cost of our characters a little bit, but it's the last section. So we have 288, 288, 300, 270 and 250. Could you bring maybe one more tech character? It's up to you to decide. Do you want to bring Dr. Doom instead of Dormammu to lower the cost of Mystic? That's something you have to decide for yourself. I don't put my hands in the fire for Dr. Doom. In my opinion, is not a good character in today's meta. But once again, this is going to be the definitive best characters that you can take to Dark Dimension 7 right now if you want to balance the cost of the gear with the centerpiece uniques, with the different game modes. So once again, these are going to be the best options. We have the city section, we have the global section, we have the cosmic section, legendary section, and the mythical section, which supposedly we only need 4 characters. But remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It takes some time to get there, and while we are getting up these characters, we might get new characters that are better than these ones. So keep that in mind. We should always update these whenever there is a new patch. This one is going to be a bit longer because it's the first one, but that's going to be it, guys. The best characters for Dark Dimension 7. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, make sure you smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure to share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Mouse Strike Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.